Okay, let's go to our next story. You know, these are testy times for the ruling All Progressives Congress APC, and those concerned should be worried. And why not? President Muhammadu Buhari is certainly worried and has warned APC members against name-calling and backstabbing. The president also said the APC needed to no division at the moment, as nothing would stop the March 26th National Convention of the party. Adekunle, I said the other day, the APC has let all the dogs out.
The APC, it's an embarrassment to democracy. I have to say it. A ruling party that is behaving like an opposition party. And it's so sad.
By choice.
Of course, by choice. A party, ruling party, that is creating crisis for itself. And when you want to think the small crisis will fizzle out, they will add more. So I describe the party as one that is in a hole and is digging further and sinking further. So when they say the president is concerned, well, rhetoric is free. I want actions. Because the president himself hasn't, to the best of my knowledge, hasn't shown enough leadership. It's emerged from that party. And right from day one, if you trace the history of crisis in the APC, from 2015, the moment the president emerged, so he just something like aloof to what is happening in the party, which shouldn't be. And you will see the body language, even utterances of some of the governors and all that I'm talking about APC governors, they all say, oh, the president has approved me to do this.
Let's confirm this. I hear out of 36 governors, APC has 22?
Yeah.
I think 22, including, you know,
and one deputy governor.
You know, remember some people defected from...
No, they have 22.
Yes.
So it is the majority party.
So it is what
the ruling
APC,
party.
it is what APC does that affects the country. Within their party, affects democracy in Nigeria. That's why we are saying they are becoming a threat even to democracy, even to themselves. Because when you look at the way they are running the party now, from one crisis to another, a small crisis to a bigger crisis to a bigger crisis to a bigger crisis, the president is now saying, just look at the way governors are attacking themselves one another. In public. And they are so happy to bring it to the newspapers, to the media houses. And I say, okay, a ruling party, it should be an embarrassment to the president. Because no president will be happy having all these kind of people, governors around him, rubbishing the party that made him president.
JKB, even Arakuni Rotimi Akeredolu refer to some of them as the Yahoo governor. It's a number one citizen.
Well, we all know they were a collection of strange bedfellows, basically, but we never knew they were also nagging wives. We are using the metaphor, of course, that the president is the husband and the governors are the wives. Because normally,
very powerful wives.
Because right now, like Kunle said, we are not even looking at a badly run party. We are looking at a badly run kindergarten party. Because only small children can behave this way when you are giving power to run our lives. When they said that INEC said certain things cannot be done, it was funny to me because the law of the party was clear. There must be an elected NWC. This same president threw that one out to put in caretaker committee. And now the same president, according to the governors, is now throwing this one out to put under caretaker. So what made the first one right and made this one wrong? Then you realize that we have a problem in this country. It's beyond interpretation.
Sometimes you wonder if certain things you hear in the news are true. 208 cases.
Imagine. Because it is very funny that a ruling party, will deliberately box itself to this corner and then look for the hardest part of the wall to bang itself upon. That's how bad things are. If I got to a point that most journalists don't even want to talk about the problems of APC anymore. Because no matter what you think you know today, it will be worse tomorrow.
Yeah, might change.
Tomorrow worse, not better.
But remember that the caretaker committee that supposedly dismantled now, eventually court, recognized it. You get my point? But this one, I always say
the Niger State governor one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Democracy is about rules, it's about processes. The process that brought in this one, I'm afraid, means very dangerous things for that party, because anything, you cannot build something on nothing. The only thing you are saying, the president has told you to go and do it. That's not how democracy works. You have every right to remove your leadership at any moment.
But follow the process.
But there are processes, there are rules you must follow. So the way they are all behaving now, I'm now saying, what's the difference between the ruling party and the people we call National Union of Road Transport? They are the ones that just go in there, change leadership at any day, any minute, without anything.
Well, Jide, you talk about the APC and you think you are watching a poorly produced home video,
Well, this whole thing is just about contest for power. We have talked about it repeatedly. 2023 elections are approaching, and political parties and the power people within them are trying to position themselves to take the spoils. It's the same thing that is happening in the PDP. But the PDP have found a way to conduct a convention, and they had little or no crisis to go with it. But of course, the APC is a bigger party. There are many states where once a candidate emerges for the APC, that candidate is as good as having won the election. So the battle for positions in the APC, the battle for power in the APC, of course, is going to get much more frenetic than any other party. The PDP faced the same problem, and eventually the PDP imploded. That was what the president was warning the party members against, that learn from what happened to the PDP. The PDP became so strong at a point, it even imagined that it could rule for more than 50 years. But where are they today? They lost power. So he's warning them to stop backstabbing one another, to stop the name calling. Because we've seen governors even call fellow governors Yahoo governors. When you say that in an election year, because we have less than a year to the elections, in an election year, you are demarketing your party. Whatever Muhammadu Buhari may have done, we have just a few days to the convention of the party. Why not just hang on? And especially when removing him may become a big legal issue, why not just hang on and not take the risk of putting the party in the position where it found itself in respect of Zamfara? Why not just hang on? And I think what the INEC has done should serve as a warning to the APC that laws are meant to be obeyed. The Constitution recognizes only the chairman and secretary of political parties, and the INEC chairman will not take any list of candidates not presented to him by the chairman of the party. So the chairman and the secretary are the people that the Constitution and even the INEC regulations recognize. So they've got to find a way to bring back Muhammadu Buhari so that he can complete the job that he has started. I can see that some of the people who are denying that Muhammadu Buhari was kicked out. It was because they realized that the power to kick him out did not rest with the people who kicked him out, and they felt that only the NEC of the party, or even the convention of the party, which is the most powerful organ of the party, can take that kind of decision. So right now, the best thing to do is to let him complete the job that he has started. If you said that he did not want to conduct a convention of the party, and you are pointing at signs that he did not want to conduct the convention, now everybody can see that whether he likes it or not, the convention has to take place. But in order to ensure that the party does not dig itself into another legal hole, they've got to do what is right. And what is right is that the chairman of the party, as well as the secretary, they are the only people who can write to INEC, they are the only people that the INEC recognize. So they should go ahead, let the convention take place under the current leadership. They should do their best to ease out the current leadership that has been there since June 2020, so that a new crop of leaders can emerge. I like the language that the president used, because the president was not really attacking any group, but was preaching unity and telling them that, look, as you are approaching an election, you don't then go around abusing yourselves and washing your dirty linen in the public. And that was the same thing that the Zamfara governor said. So governors should be much more mature than coming out to call each other names, coming out to abuse each other the way we are seeing. This is not just for power. Power is transient. Why should people lose their heads over the matter of power? And when you contest against yourself in this way, there will be some who will say to, because I've lost out, then the party must also lose out. Such people do not deserve to occupy party positions. So as the president said, they've got to learn from the mistakes of the party, the former ruling party, and do what is right. People are embarrassed, party members are embarrassed by some of the fighting words that have been used by APC leaders against one another in the last few days. And now is the time for them to come together and resolve their differences. I understand that Muhammadu Buhari will be coming in between Monday and Wednesday. We want to see what happens. Will he simply go back to the secretariat of the party and resume work? Perhaps the governors will be able to call themselves together and say, look, let us just let this guy finish this job. I hope they'll be able to put their differences aside and say, okay, in the interest of the party, let's allow this guy to finish the work that he has started, so that the party does not end up putting itself in trouble the way it happened in Zamfara. Because all of those 208 cases, the party must find a way to put them aside, to brush those parties, address the content of those cases and ensure that there is no lacuna that can put the party in even more problems.
Yeah, and GKB Adekunle, power, they say, is nothing without control.
Yeah.
So if the big idea is to grab power and you are dismantling the house, when you now are in power, Adekunle, so which table would you sit on?
You build a new one.
That's one
Build
thing.
a new table.
That's one thing I take away from what Jide just said now. They need to come together. I believe strongly that unless they revert to the Buni thing, whether they like him or not, and find a way to get things done properly, everything this is it acting something you call it,
yeah,
everything that is done through them will be swept. The courts, Nigerian courts soon take this kind of things, because at the end of the day you produce presidential candidate, all these things you are writing to, all those things you are doing, you cannot build something on nothing. And if you know that, get your house in order. This Zamfara drug is still available in our courts. They will they will apply it, and no matter how bitter and putrid it is in your mouth, you call for it. We don't want that to happen. And the APC can still salvage, the situation, I believe strongly.
Yeah. Adekunle, Jubril is reaching us from London. Jubril, good afternoon. Welcome.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the privilege, the opportunity given to me now to speak to you.
Okay then.
I'm a member of APC, a strong member of APC. I wanted to say something regarding this.
Go on. You are on air now. Go on.
Okay. The issue of this Malabumi that they've dropped. If APC doesn't take time, this will bring the party down to the grassroots. Because already, they are losing already our own personality at the moment. Chidi just said something now that APC is the biggest party as of today. It's not the biggest party when governors, they start jumping to APC, but not the grassroots. We are very far. We are very, very far. It's all about the grassroots. So APC need to buckle up, call the house together, so that we can go for election and win it. Otherwise, we are losing everything. Here, even in the UK, most of us cannot even talk about APC. Most of us here cannot talk about APC because of the present dispensation going on in Nigeria, the insecurity and other.
Okay, thank you very kindly. JKB is. They say our politics very predictable because an election is approaching, so there must be this madhouse, so to speak. And you hear things like politics, Nigerian then go settle them. Question time is the master in all of these things, and the opposition PDP is watching for the loopholes.
There is a Yoruba proverb that says that the man in rags dancing the night away, the dawn will soon come up. You understand what I'm saying? He is wearing rags. So because it is dark, he can dance as much as he wants.
Yeah.
But daylight will soon come.
Yeah.
Daylight has come for APC now. Because they've been dancing in the dark since this contraption called Caretaker Committee started. I know because I said it on this program when I said that you cannot sweep aside the constitutionally recognized authority of your party and create a lacuna. That lacuna will come back to bite you. And that's what we are going through now. Because when the Oshomole problem started, some of us said sweeping away the entire structure is not the answer. The president has the power to call everybody to order, like he just did back then. But they thought the best thing to do was to sweep away everybody and come up with a caretaker committee for 6 months. As you and I know, that has now elongated itself to almost 2 years. This problem did not start today, but the dawn has come. And like Gide said, if nothing is done now in the next few weeks to save the party will die a natural death. It's not, I'm not praying for it, it's not a curse, it's not the reality based on the Constitution and the Electoral Act. That things must be done within a particular time. That's
if your prayers get heard so easily by God, why not pray for peace for them?
You know what I'm saying? I said it's not daylight. So the man in rags must now know how to conduct himself.
No, by GKB, the party will not die. I'm too sure about that. But
it
may lose power. No, the APC will not die. It has come to stay. But there is a difference between being alive and having power. Because the essence of coming together as a political party is to seek power. So when you have power, you have life.
When you are alive.
Yes, you have life. But when you lose power, you lose life. You see how miserable PDP is now? The same old, boisterous PDP. Look how miserable it has been since 2015. You get my point? So I don't see APC survive this level of turbulence that the PDP has survived. So if the APC loses power, it's going to be very disastrous for the party. It may not die, but it become a shadow of itself.
What's the difference?
The difference is the same. I wonder how Jide takes this home.
Yes, I will want to see how the president handles this matter. We understand that the major stakeholders in this contest for power, they've been going to London to see the president to disturb his rest. The president has to put his foot down and do what is right. He has enough people who can advise him on what is right, what is legal. No one is saying that Muhammadu Buhari is without fault. Certainly not. He's played his part in making the party stronger by way of bringing in big shots into the party. He's done that very well and he's been commended for that. If there are other things that he has done that suggest that if he continues to do such things, it could bring the party down, then he needs a lot of talking to, and that's why the president is there, because he's the father of all and is the leader of the party. They have got to then monitor the caretaker committee very, very well. There is no reason to have a caretaker committee in place and not monitor the activities, because when the caretaker committee does things that are wrong, they effectively sideline well-meaning members of the party. And there are so many people who contributed their own resources who have never been compensated in any way but remain faithful to the party. Such people will not want the party to fall for any reason. So they have got at this stage the president has got at this stage to rally everyone behind the cause and get them to continue to run the party the right way and push it over the line. When I'm talking about over the line, I'm referring to the March 26th date of the convention.
Yeah.
So that once this is done, then we can be sure that at least a new set of leaders will emerge, and people, Muhammadu Buhari and co, will be eased out of power.
Okay. GKB will go on a break very shortly, but let's consider this. In politics, according to Churchill, we have said in politics you are killed many times, in war you are killed once. So politicians know about these things.
Yeah.
And so they know how they play their game.
They do, but if they are putting the lives of 200 million Nigerians and their well-being at stake, then we must call them to order. Incidentally, you and I know that once a governor emerges, it becomes the alpha and omega in that particular space. And they've been doing this since 2003. Yeah. And I don't see anything in the future that will change that reality. That to me is unfortunate. Because governors, if they have used this unity for good, to change the constitution, to do things for our common good, I'll be the happiest for it. But it seems all they want to do is create a cabal of governors, what I call governocracy. A government by governors, for governors, and to take care of governors.